is the car that I have. Well, it's a truck. And it's awesome. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Make Stuff Better. It is New Car Tuesday. So this is the Orlandoo Hunter 1/32th scale trophy truck, according to Orlandoo Hunter. It's not 1/32nd scale, specifically 1/32th scale. The detail on this truck is absolutely incredible. It's got 2 shocks per corner. That's 8 shocks total. They are not oil filled. They don't have seals in them. They won't hold oil. That would be difficult. And even if you could put oil in them, if they would hold oil, I mean, it would be so thick the shock wouldn't really move under the weight car anyway. It's so impressively detailed. I just love it. Love it to death. Let's get the top off and see what it looks like underneath. You have these 4 little push pins with like rubber grommets that go through the body. And that's what holds the body in place. Works really well. I've never lost it. Of course, I don't really crash it that hard because it's such a delicate little machine. Let's start with the roll cage. It is basically exactly what you'd see in a 2-wheel drive trophy truck, something that races the Baja 1000. It's almost like they did a 3D scan of a real trophy truck cage and just printed it. I don't know if it's printed or if it's injection molded. That is unbelievable. You've got the suspension. Really impressive how well the suspension moves, how little friction is in there. I've tried doing little things like this, and it is very, very difficult to get your tolerances right to create that much smoothness in suspension, especially something as light as this is. Your steering servo just has direct drive. Basically, the servo horn connects directly to tie rod ends. It works great. There might be a tiny bit of bump steer, but nothing that's really going to affect a truck like this. Like I said before, 2 shocks per corner. There's 8 shocks total. Even the ones without an external spring, they have an internal spring in there, and it is so tiny. The way the upper arms navigate around the suspension, the shocks specifically, is exactly how real trophy trucks are. They have sway bars front and rear. There's not a lot of squish in the wheels just because it's so light. The rubber would have to be incredibly soft. And I don't know if that would even work well. Maybe it would. I'm not sure. It is only 2-wheel drive. Some other details that we have on here: 2 spare tires on the back, extra gas can. I think they call it a jerry can. I'm not really into off-road, so I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if it's actually called a jerry can. Got a sand ladder, 2 fire extinguishers with labels on them, radiator fan. Even the dash has details on it, and I think one of them actually has a little map on it. Just absolutely unbelievable detail. It's so much fun just to look at. I know why people get into just building scale models now, because this is super cool. What puts this on a next level, though, is that you can drive it. You can't drive a scale model. So I'll probably never own any true scale models. They'll always be RCs, and they'll just be super detailed ones because it's funner that way. Funner, yes, absolutely, it's funner. My electronics, I'm still working out exactly how to put those in there in a way that is not super messy looking. I didn't want my battery out back where the battery is supposed to go because it just doesn't look super scale to have a big white battery back there. Maybe I could paint it black or something so it's not so obtrusive. My receiver is a Dumbo RC receiver, and all I did was take the outer case off of it, double-sided taped it to the inside of the cage, and then my pins to plug everything in are way up front. The ESC is actually an Orlandoo Hunter ESC, and what's interesting about that is not only do you have control over your motor, your drive motor, but your servo, because it uses less voltage than a regular servo, the ESC actually controls the voltage to the servo. So when you plug into the receiver, you've got one main plug for your channel 2, and then you just have a signal wire that goes into channel 1. So your servo plugs into the ESC and it's controlled that way. It does look like there are, looks like maybe one other wire coming back to the receiver, and I'm not quite sure what that one's for, but it's there. The transmission and motor in here are the Orlandoo Hunter ones. This is not for the faint of heart. You can't buy this ready to run. It is a kit. and it takes hours and hours to put it together. So if you do not like little screws, this isn't for you. But if you love just super scale looks and something that doesn't take up a lot of space, this rig is definitely for you. So forgive my one-handed driving, just to give you guys an idea of what this thing operates like in real time. It is pretty quick. On a slick floor, you can do donuts, which is kind of cool. The rear axle is locked, so that probably makes a little bit of a difference. And it turns really sharp. On carpet, if I am going full speed and I just turn, this thing will definitely flip over. Got a little whoop section there I built. It handles it pretty well. The whoops might be just a little big for the scale of the truck. I think I'm gonna build some more that are smaller in the future. It just gives you something to watch. I do have a more cinematic slow motion video of this, and there'll be a card in the corner for that. I mean, it's pretty strong for how delicate it looks. If you watch this right here, yeah, it turns so sharp it'll flip right over, which is kind of cool that it's got a turning radius like that. And that's as tight as it turns right there. That's a good way to break the servo right there, because there's no servo saver. You just run one of the wheels into something, and it snaps off the little gears on the servo. So there it is, the Orlandoo Hunter trophy truck, 30-tooth scale. It's just funny how the translating happens. Again, card in the corner, if you want to watch that cinematic video of this rolling around. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's not quite as majestic as like a UDR, but it's great for its scale. For its scale, it is really, really realistic. Thanks for watching. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so comment, like, share, subscribe. If you guys have any mods for ideas for mods for this little trophy truck, that would be amazing. I think they make brushless motors for them, which, I mean, it already flips over when it's going really fast. So I don't know that there's a need for that, but maybe in the future. Anyway, later.